The organizers and especially Dr. Bedi and Dr. Handa for making it possible for me to kind of stand before you friends. Uh, Let me tell you that I have very remote connection with the medicinal herbal drug development or herbal drugs. I specialize in stability testing of small molecules, but because there is no other speaker to talk on stability testing, I'm always interested to talk on all the aspects of stability testing. And today it is stability testing of herbal medicine products. A few days later, I'm invited to talk on stability testing of nanoparticles or nanoparticle dosage forms. So it goes on. So friends, I will be taking, when I really started preparing for this presentation, I was thinking that what can I put and compile. It has become a longish lecture. I will try to sum up it very quickly, but what I did was I put questions to myself. And this presentation of mine basically is in a question answer format. If I have to apply stability testing concepts to herbal medicinal products, what will be the issues? So I started taking issues one by one, and the whole presentation goes into the question answer format. So question comes first is trying to understand what is the role of stability testing. And I think those who are connected to pharma and handling the products, you all know what is the role of stability testing. We say it's a key to the assurance of quality of pharmaceuticals. Since morning, people have been talking that what we use the key for. If we have to enter the home, the whole access to the home is through the key, single key. So the whole of the quality assurance of pharmaceuticals, unless we carry out stability testing, we cannot really be assured of the quality, and that too particularly through the whole life cycle of the product till the consumption by the patient. It helps in recommending label storage conditions, establishes the shelf life, expiry date or retest period for drug substances, and how these products will vary under the different distribution conditions and environmental conditions during distribution. Now this is very important. As the drug is manufactured, whether it is any kind of drug, it is manufactured under today in the GMP environment, good manufacturing practices, all the environmental control, all your HEPA filters are working, everything is working. Suddenly, you put the drug into the marketplace and put into the transport where there is no control on the environment, absolutely. So till it is consumed by a patient, it may be at the wholesaler, it may be at the retailer, it may be in your own households that the drugs are lying and they are expiring at your households. There is a mishandling of the drugs throughout. So one is a GMP production and then totally non-GMP distribution. So how this whole, the drug stability and the quality varies under the environmental conditions and during distribution, that is what we come to know about the stability testing. Now second question was, is stability testing required for herbal medicine products? So answer to me was yes, because when I look into the, I put in Google image search, chemist shops, there is same Angrezi व आयुर्वेदिक दवाइयाँ व कवित्री विक्रेता. So these drugs, these products are contain all herbal. Now it says Angrezi आयुर्वेदिक व पशुओं के दवाइयों के विक्रेता. Everything combined, veterinary and everything product and sold into the same chemist shops and treated in the same manner. So distribution channel is absolutely similar. So that's why stability testing also is required for these products. Now, and because they are also supposed to be labeled with an expiry date. Now, very recently, as you might be knowing that this notification has been issued by the Government of India, and there was an amendment in 2009. That brings me over here and the focus on the stability testing. As in the morning, you must have heard the initial, our keynote speaker talking about that shelf life and stability is a very key issue. So this is the reason that these requirements have come from 1st April 2010, that date of expiry of Ayurveda, Siddha and Unani medicine shall be constantly displayed on the label of container or package of an Ayurvedic. So this requirement is forcing a lot of interest into the shelf life and stability testing. And not only in India, but I see this is like WHO guideline for the regulation of herbal medicine in Southeast Asia region. They are also talking of expiry date of product and storage condition apart from product information that is required for registration. So it means the industry has to now put an expiry date on the product labels, and they are supposed to carry out stability testing following a proper protocol. So, are stability testing guidelines for conventional products applicable to herbal medicinal products? So that was a question put to me. There are many guidelines, stability testing guidelines are available from ICS, they are available from WHO. Do they extend to these products also? So I would say for sure. It's not explicitly mentioned in the guidelines, although it is not negated also, they are not applicable to herbals. But you can see over here, guideline of stability testing of existing active substance related finished product from Europe, CPMP. It directly says that the guideline is applicable to chemical active substance related finished products, herbal drug preparation, and related herbal medicinal products, which are classified by Dr. Honda during his chairman remarks. And this guideline is extended even to the herbal, all kind of, whether it's the raw material or the preparation of the product. So it means that stability test protocol is also the same. I would say sure, of course, it has to be. Whatever is the protocol given in a conventional guideline applies to herbals also, which includes selection of batches, container quality system, specification, testing frequency, and all that what is contained in the conventional guidelines. Now, question came again, how many are the guidelines worldwide which mention of the requirement of stability testing or the stability test? So I went to the Google, first did the whole search of the stability guidelines, and went to the individual guideline to search out whether there is a word stability testing for herbal. So I will give you the glimpse of all the guidelines where the stability requirements are mentioned. They are from WHO, FDA, AME, etc. General guidance for the methodology, research and evaluation of traditional medicine, which is WHO, and it mentions a very small one single paragraph on stability. Then we have supplementary guidelines of GMP for the manufacture of herbal medicines. It mentions of 17.4 stability studies, which was finalized later as this document, and more 17.4 in laboratory form is indicated over here. I'm not going to read all these things, just highlighting what all the guidelines are available. Then this is again special program for research and training for tropical diseases, operational guidance, information needed to support clinical trials of herbal products. This also mentions that storage condition has stability over the length of the trial. So whenever you are using a clinical trial preparation, you have to look for the stability of that preparation for the period of trial. So it talks of both the herbal substance as the storage condition, shelf life, and the herbal product. Then this is what was shown in the morning, guidance for industry by Dr. Khan, botanical drug products. It also talks of available stability data. In Europe, the focus had been little more. There are multiple guidelines and plenty of requirements have been indicated. Again, it is for the clinical trials for herbal, investigation, management, this journal, and stability they are indicating, and in which they are saying that potential irrigation pathways and everything is indicated. For herbal preparation, result of stress testing may be omitted, where justified test, everything is applicable. And this is another guideline on the use of the CTD format in the preparation of registration application of traditional herbal medicine products. So you want to go register your product, now you have to use the common technical document. So in this case, you have again stability, name, manufacturer stability summary, post-approval stability protocol, and for drug product also the stability requirement, detailed study requirement has to be given in the registration dossier. Another one which are specific to herbal medicine products are the guideline on the quality of combination herbal medicine products, traditional herbal medicine products, which is in the final form, and it also talks of the stability of the herbal medicine products. Now you'll find that not much details are provided, only small requirement format it is given. This is another thing which has come, reflection paper on markers used for quantitative and qualitative analysis of herbal medicine products and traditional herbal medicine products. My good friend had talked on markers. Here they are talking, like he indicated in his slides, they are talking about the stability of the markers also. That when you are storing the markers for further use, you should first evaluate their stability. Then, especially stability testing focused, a reflection paper has come in 2010 on stability testing of herbal medicine products and traditional herbal medicine products. This European agency brings out a reflection paper indicating they are going to work on it now, and they will come out with a final guideline. So they are talking of all the issues connected with the stability of herbal medicine products. So another guideline which was introduced in 31st March 2011, guideline of specification, test procedure, acceptance criteria for herbal substances, herbal preparation, herbal medicine products, and traditional herbal medicine products. They are talking of stability characteristics. And then this is the guideline on quality of herbal medicine products, traditional herbal medicine products. This is not actually stability testing guideline, it's a general quality guideline where also the stability test have been requirement has been indicated. Then specific question and answer quality herbal medicine products, traditional herbal medicine products. Again, the stability related question answers are listed, 10 or 15 of them. This is the guideline from EDQM, which is publishing European Pharmacopoeia. This has the content of the dossier for herbal drugs and herbal drug preparation quality evaluation, and they are having a 3.257 section talking of the stability requirement. So just talking to Dr. Handa, he was saying that can we put also in our Ayurvedic Pharmacopoeia a chapter on stability testing. So that maybe we can take a clue from EDQM activity. Then MHRA has come out with a traditional herbal medicine registration scheme, and they are also talking how to this as guidance for retailer, wholesaler, importers, and manufacturers, and how do I go about registering my products. They are talking of whole stability data which is required, shelf life, and other things they are indicating over here. Then Australia, there is a question and answer on stability testing on listed complementary medicine, because the definition is differently used in Australia. They talk of complementary medicines, and there are a lot of question and answer given how to carry out stability testing of these products. Now, question comes over here is that we are talking of botanical drug development, and plenty of things we have discussed from the IND stage to ND stage, so or beyond ANDA stage. So whether it is necessary at all stages of development life cycle for herbal medicine products. Sure, there is guidance from US FDA particularly, because they are classifying into different stages, IND, NDA stages. They are talking of INDA progresses as INDA progresses for drug substance, drug product, and then they are talking of clinical studies and then stability linear method for final products. So US FDA is expanding into a structured program that stability studies need to be carried out at each stage of IND, NDA, and subsequent. Now, issue comes over here is that if whether complexity of the herbal medicine products recognized by regulator different from the normal small molecules and the conventional products. Sure, I will say certainly. And if you look into this relaxation paper on stability testing of herbal medicine products from Europe, it says problem statement, evaluating the stability HMP presents a number of challenges when compared to chemically refined substance. So this is what since morning we are discussing. So this is expressed in these and recognized well that there are complex issues related to stability testing. And even Australian government, when they are talking of question answers of district complementary, they say the approach also recognizes the technical difficulties that may be associated with stability testing of complex multi-ingredient complementary medicines. So these are being well recognized, and this is one table I got from the literature where multi-component special tincture Melisse compound containing 13 extracts and the detection of such extract components. So what they did was each oil which was there in this, they had studied the components. And if this kind of compounded mixtures if you have, and you have all the components which are listed to be present, and now it becomes a little easy for somebody to carry out a stability studies, they will be able to look into the changes that are happening over the period into each component. So this kind of extensive study is required. That is what in the morning we were highlighting, a lot of identification studies are required first. So that is Dr. Khan has really put out this, that identification, importance of identification. And if you look into this, we have in our plant ingredients, extract components, we have polysaccharides, proteins, glycosides, heavy metal chlorides, alkaloids, how they interact with each other. I think this is a very good example. And these interaction may not be developing immediately, but they will develop over the storage period and be responsible for maybe the precipitation of your preparation over the period. So these interactions have to be really looked into. Now this is a picture I collected from some document which was published in 85 or so. But what is knowledge about this interaction? I think this needs to be revised by scientists sitting like in this meeting. We should focus on this. What more type of interactions have been reported, and so that we can understand real complexity with these products. And if you look into the factors that influence the stability of hormonal medicine products, there are plenty of them. Even microorganisms can really affect their stability, which normally we are not focusing on the conventional products. And here we have mold growth, insect attack, and other things. And rest are other, on the conventional products also they apply. So we have a longer list of factors that can influence the stability of these products. So a question comes over here is, so have any specific differential provisions suggested till date in the various regulatory guidelines? Now next question automatically will come, whether there are special provisions added. So they are very true. I'm putting very quickly, sir, if you permit, I'll put 7, 8 of them that is differentiating than the conventional products. First, the entire herbal preparation is to be considered as an active substance. Because nature has created such a mix that it doesn't want it to be very toxic, it doesn't want to be non-therapeutically active, it has balanced everything. So we have to take a total as an active substance. Then again, as we have been listening since morning, lot depends on the identification, and one of the ways to do fingerprinting. And fingerprint chromatograms have to be generated, and then look into which of the ingredients are stable and which is not stable. But we have to look into the stability of every component, because if one component which is preventing the toxicity is lost, preparation may have a higher toxicity. If there is a therapeutic activity component which is showing therapeutic activity that is lost, then the preparation becomes cannot be used further on because of lack of activity. So if you look into over here, this is qualitative TSA definition of stability of Caratiges extract, one example, where you can see one component where the marker was available. This is the references and the marker. We have seen that this is fading away with time on storage for 0 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24, and this way. But rest of the components remain almost stable. So this kind of looking into the fingerprinting at every station, stability station, becomes very important. Holistically, we have to look into the changes. Then stress testing requirement is there, which FDA says it is required. EMEA clearly says it is unnecessary. So there is a division of thought process also at this moment in various guidelines. Stress testing means we have initially to put on high temperature, high humidity, high pH conditions to see what changes can happen. And subsequently, we look into the degradation products, what they have formed. And you can see over here, FDA is more critical over here, and they are talking of degradation products and stability indicating profile, even for the herbal, botanical, stability of botanical testosterone products, and it should not be based entirely on the assay of the active. Assay of the characteristic marker or biological assay, but because degrade formed in storage from other chemicals in the botanical testosterone product should also be controlled. So what interaction product, degradation products are formed and how toxic they can be, we don't know, so we better is to control them. Then protocol revision is there because herbal drug preparations, if they are already in the market, 6 month long-term data on 2 batches for stable actives and 3 batches for unstable actives. Accelerated data may be omitted for herbal drug material if justified, no concession for finished herbal products. So testing frequency can be reduced if justified. Then we have stability testing parameters outlined by FDA alone. European guidelines do not highlight those yet. So they are talking about appearance, chemical identification, assay, biological assay, strength by dry weight, heavy metals, microbial limits, animal safety. And madam, if she is saying RASA and everything, and we can bring in more parameters if we have the tools to really evaluate. That's very interesting that we can add up this parametric list. The extent of variation during shelf life has been defined, especially in the European guidelines, that less than 5% variation from the initial value in case of herbal medicine product will constitute of non-therapeutic activity, and 10% if the therapeutic activity components are not really identified or the therapeutic activity is unknown. Then specific recommendation as the products containing vitamins and minerals, because we have plenty of herbal products along with minerals, added minerals and vitamins. So here they are talking that stability of vitamins and minerals should be demonstrated in addition to the major components, the herbal portion. Then there is a summary flow chart for deciding the status and stability testing of herbal medicine products. Again, I got it from the literature. Very interesting, it gives that if you have a medical indication defined in detail for the herbal preparation, if you don't have information on what it is to be used for, and you don't have any physical parameter useful, forget it that you can carry out a stability study. At least stability study requires some marker or some parameter to evaluate. So if there is no parameter, you cannot do it. Yes, if active substance is known, adequate concentration is there are parameters available for stability testing. These are not known. We have to depend on the biological testing at each stability station, and then whether it is physical parameter useful or not, or the quantity determination we can go. So some parameters need to be available for testing for stability. Now the issue comes over here is Indian system against all this. What regulatory guidelines are saying that systematic approach have to be taken for stability testing. We have a fixed expiry date for Ayurvedic medicine products in India. This is equivalent to our Schedule P in our Drug Act and rules, where also fixed expiry dates are mentioned for the conventional drugs and products, like amoxicillin 2 years, if there, like amoxicillin 3 years, amoxicillin capsule will be 2 years. Rather, it is shortened for the products and longer for the drug substance. Similarly, what we have developed a model is putting the shelf life or date of expiry for Ayurvedic medicines, and we have fixed them 1 year, 2 year, 5 years. This world will not accept it, because if I am preparing the same preparation, let us say I am preparing a churn, it says fixed 2 year maximum you can give. I may be preparing a churna in a different way, other person may be preparing in a different way. He may be having a different constituent, other person may be having a different constituent. So we can, or even it may be same. I may be having a full GMP condition with a control on mold growth, control on the microbes. Other person may not be having. So this fixed date system will not work in India for long. It has to change. And they are given for Unani and Siddha medicines also, similar kind of table. So finally, I will put a dedicated stability testing guideline for hormonal medicine products is yet elusive. And sure, when I look into the world scenario, there is no dedicated stability testing guideline for herbal medicines. So, though the need has already been highlighted, I can look into this pharmabase.com news. Government should issue guidelines to determine shelf life for ASU medicine. As the requirement of expiry date labeling came, immediately this kind of news came that we should have a stability guideline. And then also in the reflection paper on stability testing by the Europe, it says in summary, herbal medicine products have a number of characteristics that clearly differentiate them from chemically defined medicine products, and therefore specific stability guideline needs to be established, which has not been done till now. So we don't have any guidance. So friends, just to close quickly, can we take a lead? I think why not? We in India have such a good trained manpower in industry. We have such a large industry. We have trained scientists, excellent scientists. Since morning I'm seeing you people from the herbal side. I'm not in the herbal side. You people are excellent in everything. So why can't we take a lead? So as far myself is concerned, I helped IDMA to develop this technical monograph, which is a very hot selling document of them. It has gone into, I think, 4th, 5th print. That is stability testing of existing drug substances and products. That was done under my chairmanship, and the whole IDMA brought the industry people, experts together. I was giving them the drafts. They were correcting, advising me and commenting on it, and then I was further preparing the revisions. And although our government of India or the DCGI has not recognized this document, but this is a good document being followed by industry internally, and IDMA has distributed to all industry. And here also we have good articles that are existing now in literature. Recently I have seen stability testing of herbal medicine products, a full article of around 6, 7, 8 pages which talks of all the, again, similar kind of issues. And ongoing stability testing of herbal medicine products. This is another aspect, because they are going to be in the market long. So ongoing stability has to be carried out, like every year we have to put a batch, which is not the practice in herbal medicine products. So question comes over here is, if I have to develop a guideline, why should I do it? I will do it if the Indian regulatory industry is really interested in its development and implementation. So it doesn't mean that I make an effort, spend a year and travel, discuss in committees. Like Dr. Handa was expressing to me that they are interested in Ayurveda Pharmacopoeia committee to really come out with a document. I'm ready to help them out. I know all the principles of stability testing because I was a part of the WHO team, I was a part of Indian team to develop those guidelines. Only thing is scientific aspects related to herbal medicine products and their complexity issues we need to add up into the guideline. Like parameters for testing of all the dosage forms we need to define. which scientists need to cooperate with me and give me the details, and industry people, how they are managing and what parameters they are implementing. So for this, I have no answer, whether these people will be really interested or not. So I have, thanks a lot. Sorry, I had 65 slides. I tried to compress in 15, 20 minutes. So thank you very much for patience.
MCBT, that's multi-component botanical therapeutic single ingredient, single plant preparations, which are in the proprietary domain at the moment. The industries are trying to push through. Second is a multi-component, multi-plant ingredients, which are very difficult. Third category is a classical formulations, which are the most difficult proposition for the sterility studies. He has already shown about 23 dosage forms. Those are the fixed sterility studies have been mentioned. In the absence of any documented study which has been carried out on any of the dosage forms in the traditional system of medicine. That's the reason the regulatory authorities thought it appropriate, in consultation with the industry and the Ayurvedic experts, that let us have a fixed dose for each dosage form, which is reasonably okay, but there is no scientific basis on which we have fixed this timeline. And this is the exercise where we ourselves are very weak. Out of so many classical, another question is the classical product market is not big. Market is small. There are lesser drug formulators in the field. Drug manufacturers are interested in proprietary products. They make their own combinations of a couple of plants, put a proprietary product in the market because comparatively easier. Classical, very few industries are engaged in classical formulations. The market being small, they are not so well off that they can sponsor or they can come forward to give their inputs for this sterility. Nevertheless, as a commission,